we need we need to know all these points. Okay, here you can check it out. So we have the trimesters. Okay, so we have the trimesters and you can see the time period given over there. So first trimester, second trimester and third trimester, we have three trimesters. And it is of what, the first trimester like less than 14 weeks and 0 days. We have second trimester 14 weeks to less than 28 weeks 0 days, and we have third trimester 28 weeks 0 days until delivery. And the common terms that to be used in this particular pregnancy chapter means we have pregnancy, delivery, outcome, and postpartum. Postpartum will be also called as puerperal. Okay, so these are the terms that you need to remember and that you will be finding very commonly in this particular pregnancy chapter. So here you can check it out. The very first points we have codes from the chapter 15 and sequencing priority. Please note it down. So this will be called as, these pregnancy cases will be called as obstetric cases. You can note it down. Obstetric cases. So these cases required codes from the chapter 15. That code ranges from O00 to O9A. Pregnancy, that is what? Pregnancy, childbirth and puerperium. Okay. So chapter 15 codes have sequencing priority over the codes from other chapters. So every time whenever you have like if you are doing the pregnancy related conditions, if you are doing the pregnancy records, so you'll be doing what? There should be a sequencing priority, and the sequencing priority will goes for what? Will go to the O series only. Sequencing priority goes to the O series over the other chapter codes. So additional codes from the other chapters may be used in the conjunction with the chapter 15 codes to further to specify the conditions. So it means what? Let's consider the patient is having some diabetes condition or a hypertension condition. Let's consider. Okay, so it's an example I'm telling. So as the person is having the diabetes or a hypertension condition, you need to do what? You need to code the O series first. So you need to tell like pregnancy induced diabetes, okay, or gestational diabetes. And after that, maybe you need to use the diabetes code also to specify the condition. You need to specify it. You need to specify, you need to give the O series, and also you need to specify the condition. So here, yeah. So here you can check it out. Should the provider should document that the pregnancy is incidental to the encounter, then the code will be Z33.1. Pregnant state incidental should be used in place of any chapter 15 codes. So if the provider is telling like the patient, the pregnancy is incidental to the encounter. Okay, it is incidental to the encounter. If he mentioned it's very clearly in the documentation, then you need to assign the code what? Z33.1. You should not give any codes from the chapter 15. It should be Z33.1, that representing pregnant state incidental. That is of Z series. Okay, if it is the provider's responsibility to state the condition being treated is not affecting the pregnancy. So here in this particular point, we have seen like we'll be using additional codes from the other chapters, may be used in conjunction with the chapter 15. So here, if you have one condition, let's consider we have a condition A for the pregnant patient. So the provider need to clearly mention that. So whatever the condition it may be, even a simple condition like vomitings, okay, these are very common conditions. So that common conditions also, they will be having a little effect on the pregnant patient, on the pregnancy. So as even the simple conditions having the effect, so the provider need to clearly mention, if you have one condition and the provider is treating for that condition, okay, the provider need to clearly mention that this condition does not have anything to do with the pregnancy. You need to mention like that. If you have such thing, you can code it separately. You no need to give the O series for that. Okay, So it is provider's responsibility to state the condition being treated is not affecting the pregnancy. The point you need to remember. Okay. Next, you can check out here. I told you like we have the sequencing priority. So here you can check out the example, guys. Pregnant patient at 20 weeks of gestation. You will be having gestation period. Okay, that will be given in the weeks. So you have here the patient is of 20 weeks of gestation admitted for acute cystitis with hematuria. So here, whenever you have conditions like this, okay, acute cystitis with hematuria or such conditions, you need to know in this particular condition which body part or which body system is affecting. You need to know that particularly. Okay, so if you know that, then it will be very useful for you to lead the code properly. So here you can check it out. We are giving the very first code. What? Infections of the bladder in pregnancy, second trimester. So let me show you to lead that, how to lead it. Yeah. So here you can check it out. We have the term pregnancy over here. So here it is starting. In the book, we went to the index list. Here you can check it out, the word pregnancy. So whatever the conditions you have, you need to lead it from the pregnancy only. Okay, when it is coming to the pregnancy cases, obstetric cases. So here we have what? Bladder related condition. So here you can check it out. We have the terms here. So here you can see abscess or cellulitis. Here we have the term called as bladder. Okay. So in the scenario, we have what? The cystitis, acute cystitis with hematuria, which is related to the bladder condition. So here you can see the series they have given. It's not a complete code, and I've told you also that whatever the condition that you are leading in the index list, that you need to cross check in the tabular list. Right? I have specified this particular point. So now let's see this particular O23.1 series in the tabular list. So let me type. Yeah. So here we have the O series. So let's see. O23.1, right? So here you can check it out. Infections of bladder in pregnancy. So here you can see it is said as unspecified trimester. Okay, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester we have. So you need to check it out. In the so now in the question, it is of 20 weeks of gestation, which is falling into the second trimester. Okay. So I have already shown you like first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester, the time periods I have shown to you. So here, as it is falling into the what second trimester, the code will be what? O23.12, infections of bladder and pregnancy, second trimester. So this will be the complete code, guys. Okay. So here it is a series only. So how will be coming to know like this is particular complete code? Then you need to check in the tabular list. Then only you'll be getting the proper confirmation. Okay. So now here, as we have this particular condition, so here you can check it out. It told as infections in the bladder, right? So there will be many infections. So you need to do what? You need to specify the condition. So what that particular infection it is. So you need to do what? As in the documentation, we have what? So let me share the screen. So here you can see. So, yeah. So here you can check it out. It is what? We have led this particular infections of bladder and pregnancy, that is of second trimester, and you need to specify what? Acute cystitis with hematuria. So the code will be leading to N30.01, and you need to specify the weeks of gestation also. For the weeks of gestation, you will be getting this particular series called as Z3A. You can note it down, guys. Z3A. Okay. And here in this particular, I mean, after we have the subcategory, right? So in the subcategory, whatever the weeks of gestation you have, you can add that one. Okay. So let me show you that to lead it in the this particular one. I'll show you. So if we are trying to lead it in the book, it is taking too much of time. So we have what? Weeks of gestation, right? So let's try. So we are going to the terms pregnancy. So here you can check it out, guys. We have like under this particular pregnancy terms, we have weeks of gestation, and you can check out. It is of Z3A series. I have already told you Z3A series, and you need to do what? You need to add whatever the weeks you have in the subcategory. You can see if it is 13 weeks, it is what? Z3A.13. 13 is means what? It's a 13 weeks of gestation. So every time in the scenario, if you have this pregnancy scenarios, you need to specify what? You need to specify the weeks of gestations also. You need to remember this particular point. So here, the documentation does not indicate that pregnancy is incidental or in any way unaffected by the acute cystitis. Therefore, an obstetrics code should be assigned and sequenced first. So here, in this question, do we have any indication like this particular condition is not affecting the pregnancy? They didn't tell like that, right? So just they told like the patient is a pregnant patient and she got admitted with the acute cystitis with the hematuria. So simply we'll be considering like, as they didn't mention anything, we can take it as a affecting condition, and we can code the obstetrics code in the as the first diagnosis, and you can give the remaining as the secondary diagnosis. And here they didn't still mention like whether the pregnancy is an incidental one or a normal one. So we are considering it as a normal one, and we are doing it. An additional code is needed to identify the specific bladder condition, as this information is not specifically identified in the obstetrics code. So I've told you, right? In this particular, it is not clear, right? It is told as infections of bladder. So there will be many infections, that is as it's not clear in the code description. you need to mention the additional code to specify the condition. Am I clear with the example? So here you can check it out. The terms, the trimesters are given here. And next, we have a final character for trimester. Please note it down. Next one need to discuss is what? Final character for the trimester. So majority of codes in the chapter 15 have final character indicating trimester of pregnancy. Okay. So the time frames for the trimesters are indicated in the beginning of chapter in the most of the books. You can check it out. If the trimester is not a component of the code, it is because the condition always occurs in the specific trimester or the concept of trimester is not applicable. So every time. So in the previous code, you can check it out. Lastly, in this particular code, it is of O23.1, and lastly, you have added this particular two character, right? So this 2 1 is mentioning what? The person is in the second trimester. So whatever the condition it may be that happening in this particular pregnancy scenarios, you need to mention the last character. The final character should be mentioning the specific trimester, because the conditions will be happening specifically in that particular trimester, so you need to mention it properly. So next we have selection of trimesters for extended inpatient admissions that encompass more than one trimester. So see here, in instances when patient is admitted to a hospital for complications of pregnancy and remains in the hospital for an extended period. So let's consider the patient came to the hospital, admitted in the hospital for some complication, and she stayed in the hospital for 1 month. Let's consider. Okay. So it is possible for complications to develop during different trimesters. So antepartum complication should be assigned on the basis of trimester when the complication developed. So let's see this particular point with the example. So here you can check it out. Patient admitted at 27 weeks, which is of 6 days. In a week, we'll be having 7 days, right? So she admitted on the 6th day, okay, weeks of gestation for hemorrhaging from partial placenta previa. It's a condition. Partial placenta previa. 3 days after admission, 3 days after admission, 28 days. Okay, so it will be 28 weeks. The second day, second day of the 7 weeks of gestation, she developed gestational hypertension. So she stayed in the hospital for a while. Okay, she admitted in the what? 27 weeks of gestation, and she stayed till what? 28 weeks also. So at that time, while admission she came with one complication, and during this she also developed one more complication. So how we are going to code in this particular scenario means you need to assign two codes, guys. Okay, you can assign whatever the condition the patient came with, whatever the condition the patient admitted with, that one you need to code, and the complication that she developed during the stay, that one also you need to code, and you need to assign. So here you can ask me a question like, then what weeks of gestation we need to assign? You need to assign the weeks of gestation code for whatever the weeks of gestation when she, during the admission, what the weeks of gestation she have, that you need to assign. So here you can check it out. Placenta previa with hemorrhage, that is of second trimester, so we have given that particular one. And next, during that she had developed the gestational hypertension, right? So we have given pregnancy induced. Gestational means what? Pregnancy induced. Due to the pregnancy she got the hypertension. So pregnancy induced hypertension without significant proteinuria, that is of what? Third trimester. So you can see the last character. So here the 2 is representing the second trimester. The 3 is representing what? Third trimester. And the weeks of gestation of the pregnancy. So what we are giving? While admission she is on the 27 weeks of gestation. So we are assigning that particular code. Okay. So please note down this example and try to lead it by your own. Can I go to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So here, next one, as I already told you, the weeks of gestation. Okay, weeks of gestation, the category will be what? Z3A category. Weeks of gestation are for use on the maternal record to indicate the specific weeks of gestation of the pregnancy. So Z3A category, that will be representing what? Weeks of gestation that will be used on the maternal record. So that to specify the gestation of pregnancy. They are to be appended as an additional codes to the chapter 15. For whatever the O series you are giving, for that you need to assign this particular Z3A category as additional code. So ICD 10 completely, sorry, ICD 10 in the ICD 10 completed weeks of gestation refers to the full weeks. Okay, if it is told like completed, then it will be representing what? Full weeks of gestation. So next we have outcome of delivery. Yeah, they will be sharing the recorded video. Okay. Next we have outcome of delivery. So outcome of delivery, the category will be Z37, Z37. Outcome of delivery should be included on every maternal record when the delivery has occurred. Outcome means what? The baby outcome, right? So if the delivery occurred, then you need to assign the category what? Z37. Please note it down. Z37, outcome of delivery. Z37, outcome of delivery. When the delivery occurred, at that time you need to assign this particular code. Next, we have this particular points called as pre-existing conditions versus conditions due to pregnancy. Please note it down. Pre-existing conditions versus conditions due to the pregnancy. So the words are very clear, guys. Pre-existing, it means what? Before the pregnancy only the patient is having the condition. Pre-existing condition. Next, versus conditions due to the pregnancy. So after the person got pregnant, after that she got the condition. That means what? Conditions due to pregnancy. She got the condition due to the pregnancy. So when assigning the codes from the chapter 15, it is important to assess if the condition was a pre-existing condition or developed during or due to the pregnancy. The points will be different, guys. Please note it down. You will be having what? Pre-existing condition which is prior to pregnancy or developed during the pregnancy or due to the pregnancy. In order to assign the correct code, you need to assess the assessing is very important. So here you can check it out. Pre-existing hypertension in pregnancy. Pre-existing hypertension in pregnancy. So it is of category O10. Okay, please note it down. It is of category O10. Pre-existing hypertension complicating pregnancy, childbirth and puerperium. That includes codes for hypertensive heart and hypertensive CKD also. Please note it down. O10 category. So I am just giving the category. It's not a complete code, guys. Pre-existing hypertension. You can go to the terms hypertension. There you can lead the pre-existing word. So next we have diabetes mellitus in pregnancy. During the time of pregnancy, the patient have what? Diabetes. So you can see pregnant women who are diabetic should be assigned O24.0 to O24.3. Please note it down the category, guys. O24.0 to O24.3. Diabetes mellitus in pregnancy, childbirth, and puerperium. That should be assigned first followed by the appropriate codes from the category E08 to E13, which is from the chapter 4. I've already told you, right? You need to specify the condition. So here we are specifying. We are giving the series O24.0 to O24.3 accordingly, and we are giving additional code for the for to identify the appropriate diabetes, that is of series E08 to E13, which is of chapter 4. Next we have gestational pregnancy. Gestational diabetes, which is pregnancy induced diabetes. Gestational diabetes, which is called as pregnancy induced diabetes. So codes for gestational diabetes are in the subcategory of O24.4. Please note it down. So here it is of the diabetes mellitus in pregnancy. It is of O24.0 to O24.3. Because of the pregnancy she got the diabetes, then it is what? Pregnancy induced diabetes. So that category, that subcategory is what? O24.4. So gestational diabetes mellitus. No other category of O24 should be assigned with this particular O24.4 series. Other O24 series should not be assigned with the subcategory of O24.4. So codes are Z79.4 long term current use of insulin. Okay, Z79.84 long term use of oral hypoglycemic drugs. Z79.85 long term use of injectable non insulin anti-diabetic drugs. These should not be assigned with the codes from subcategory O24.4. So, pregnancy induced diabetes, if the person got this pregnancy induced diabetes, those persons are not going to get the treatment with the insulin. Okay. So, there will be some other treatment for that, those people. So, so you should not assign any one of these codes like Z79 series, whether it may be insulin, whether it may be oral hypoglycemic drugs, or it may be injectable non-insulin anti-diabetic drugs. Okay, that should not be assigned with the O24.4 series. Please note it down. Okay, so next we have alcohol use during pregnancy, childbirth, and puerperium. Please note it down. Alcohol use during pregnancy, childbirth, and puerperium. So it means what? During the pregnancy time, the mother is using alcohol. The mother is taking alcohol. So codes under subcategory O99.31, which is of alcohol use complicating pregnancy, childbirth, and puerperium, should be assigned for any pregnancy case when the mother uses alcohol during the pregnancy or the postpartum. Okay. Postpartum means what? Like after the delivery, after the pregnancy, after the delivery. So still the patient is using the alcohol during the pregnancy in the postpartum period. Then you need to assign the subcategory what? O99.31, which represents alcohol use complicating pregnancy. Next, we have tobacco use. So it means what? Any type of tobacco product, guys. Not only tobacco, we have whatever it may be, nicotine type, whatever it may be. Okay. So that subcategory will be what? O99.33. Smoking tobacco complicating pregnancy, childbirth, and puerperium should be assigned for any pregnancy case when mother uses any type of tobacco product during pregnancy or postpartum. Please note down the subcategory O99.33. Next, we have drug use during pregnancy. Drug use during pregnancy, childbirth, and puerperium. So, codes under subcategory 099.32, drug use complicating pregnancy, childbirth, and puerperium, should be assigned for any pregnancy cases when a mother uses any type of tobacco. Sorry, it is of drugs, guys. There is a typo mistake. When a mother uses any type of drug during the pregnancy or postpartum. So for this particular 099.32, you need to assign the secondary category, guys. Secondary code. Okay. Secondary code from the categories F11 to F16, F18 to F19 to identify manifestations of drug use. Please note down that F11 to F16 and F18 to F19. So you need to specify. You need to specify with the secondary code. Please note down the categories so it will be useful for you. And even if you note down the categories also, you need to try to lead it in the book by your own so that it will be useful for you. Next we have, please note it down, peripartum and postpartum periods. Peripartum and postpartum periods. So postpartum period begins immediately after delivery and continues for 6 weeks following delivery. Please note it down. Postpartum word represents what? The meaning of the postpartum is what? It's a period that begins after immediately after the delivery and continues for what? Continues for the 6 weeks following delivery. Next, we have peripartum period. Peripartum period is defined as last month of pregnancy to the 5 months postpartum. Write it down. Peripartum period is defined as what? From the last month of pregnancy to the 5 months of the postpartum. A postpartum complication, a postpartum complication is any complication that occurring within the 6 week period. So whatever after delivery within the 6 week period, whatever the complication arises, that will be called as what? Postpartum complication. Next, encounter for full term uncomplicated delivery. Please note it down. Encounter for full term uncomplicated delivery. So you can check it out here. Encounter for the full term uncomplicated delivery. The code O80. Please note it down. O80. That should be assigned when a woman is admitted for full term normal delivery and delivers a single healthy infant without any complications in the antepartum. Antepartum means during the pregnancy period. Okay. During the delivery or postnatal during the delivery episode. So it means what? Very simple, guys. Normal delivery. Like she didn't have anything, any complications, anything. She didn't have anything. Okay. Any complication during the pregnancy, during the delivery, nothing she have healthy. She delivered a single healthy infant. That will be told as what? Full term uncomplicated delivery. At that time, you need to assign what? O80. So this further defined as, so the delivery, uncomplicated delivery further defined as the delivery requiring minimal or no assistance with or without episiotomy, without fetal manipulation. It means a rotation version or anything. Next, without use of, there's any instrumentation, forceps, okay, instrumentation of a spontaneous cephalic vaginal full term single. Okay, every time you need to remember this point, guys. Single live born infant. Only single. For single only, we are going to give this one. For single healthy infant baby of normal delivery. So this code is for use as single diagnosis code and it should not be used with any other code from the chapter 15. Already the baby got delivered, right? So we are not going to assign any chapter 15 code. Chapter 15 is only for the pregnancy period, not like for the after delivery. So you can check it out, guys. Outcome of delivery for AO80 Z37.0, which represents single live birth, is only outcome of delivery code appropriate for the O80. So O80 means what? O80 means encounter for the full term uncomplicated delivery, right? Full term normal delivery happened and she delivered a single healthy live infant. So to represent this particular single healthy live infant, you need to assign Z37.0 along with the O80. Please note it down. Along with the O80, the specific code goes what? Z37.0. Next, selection of the OB principal and first listed diagnosis. Please note it down. Selection of principal diagnosis in the OB. Episodes when no delivery occurs. Please note it down. Episodes when no delivery occurs. So in episodes when no delivery occurs, it means the patient still in the pregnancy. Okay, the principal diagnosis should be corresponded to the principal complication of the pregnancy, which necessitated the encounter. Okay, so the patient came to the hospital, right? The patient came to the hospital for checkup. Let's consider. So whatever the condition that led her to the hospital, that condition should be, that complication should be coded as the principal diagnosis or the first listed diagnosis. Should more than one complication exist? If in a scenario, if you have more than one complication, all which are treated, monitored, any one of the complication can be sequenced first. If you have multiple complications that led to the encounter, like all of them were treated and monitored in the same way, like the priority goes to each and everything, then any one of the condition you can sequence first. When delivery occurs, so this is when no delivery occurs. So when delivery occurs, so when an obstetric patient, when the pregnant patient is admitted and delivers during that admission, so let's consider the patient admitted to the hospital. At that time only she delivered a baby. The condition that prompted to the admission should be sequenced as the principal diagnosis. So whatever the condition that led her to the admission into the hospital, that condition should be coded as the principal diagnosis. Okay. Next, if a multiple conditions prompted the admission, sequence one condition which is most related to the delivery as the principal diagnosis. So if you have multiple codes in that scenario, multiple conditions that led to the encounter, led to the admission. So from there, any one of the most related condition you can take and you can code it as a principal diagnosis. A code for any complication of the delivery should be assigned as an additional diagnosis. So whatever the remaining condition, you can code them as an additional diagnosis. In cases of cesarean delivery, so it is not a normal delivery, like they will be using all the things and they will be removing the baby from outside. That's what the cesarean delivery. Okay, they will be cutting. So cesarean delivery, if the patient was admitted with a condition that resulted in the performance of the cesarean procedure. So she came to the hospital, she admitted with one condition. Okay, that particular condition resulted in the cesarean procedure, that condition should be selected as the principal diagnosis. So whatever the condition that prompted to the cesarean procedure, that condition should be coded as the principal diagnosis. Next, if the reason for admission was unrelated to the condition resulting in the cesarean delivery, the condition that related to the reason for admission should be selected as the principal diagnosis. So if the reason for admission was unrelated, guys, it's not at all unrelated. It is unrelated to the condition that resulting in the cesarean delivery, then you need to do what? Whatever the condition that is related, there will be, you'll be if you have a condition related to the thing, that you can code it as the principal diagnosis. The condition that related to the reason for admission should be coded as the principal diagnosis. So this is how we are going to select the principal or a first listed diagnosis in the pregnancy scenarios, in the OB scenarios. So here you can check it out. You have your examples. Please note it down. So you can see a patient admitted in active labor during 38 weeks of pregnancy. The patient experienced no complications during the pregnancy. She labored around 7.5 hours and delivered a live born male over an intact perineum. So, the patient was the pregnant patient admitted to the hospital, which is of 38 weeks of gestation period, and she experienced no complications during the pregnancy. And while delivery also, it's a uncomplicated delivery. She delivered around 7.5 hours and given a live born baby, live born male baby. Okay. So we have already discussed it that we'll be giving what? OAT series. That will be what? Encounter for full term uncomplicated delivery. As here it is very clear. Like she labored for the 7.5 hours and delivered a live born baby. Okay. They didn't mention any complication over here. And we are giving the OAT series, and you need to specify the weeks of gestation. So here we have the 38 weeks of gestation. So Z3A is the category for the weeks of gestation. And as it's a 38, we have assigned it to 38. You can check it out here. Z3A.38. 38 weeks of gestation pregnancy. And I've already told you with the OAT, we'll be giving what? Z37.0, which will be representing single live birth. You can note it down. Single live birth. So you can lead this particular ZZ37 category. You can go to this outcome of delivery and you can lead like that. Please note down the example so that it will be useful for you. So you can check it out, guys. For encounter full-term uncomplicated delivery, here it is clearly mentioned. The delivery requiring minimal no assistance with or without episiotomy, everything they have mentioned. Like what the normal deliveries meant. They mentioned it very clearly here. You can check it out. So done. Can I move to the next slide? Okay. Let's move to the next slide. So here you can see one more example. What an ICD code, ICD 10CM coding is reported on the maternal record of delivering the triplets, which are all which are all live born at the 32 weeks of pregnancy. Okay, so the patient delivered what? Triplets, and all are live born. So whenever you have this particular delivery reports, guys, you need to check it out whether the delivered baby is live born or stillborn. Stillborn means it's dead. Okay, live born means the baby is alive. So you need to check it out whether it is a live born or like stillborn. You need to check it out, and accordingly you need to assign the code. So here you can check it out. You can go to the pregnancy term, and there you will be having the triplet word. So you can see how the leading it is. You can check it out here. It is from the book only. Okay, so you can see triplet pregnancy. In that triplet pregnancy, here they didn't mention anything like how many number of placenta there. Okay, how many amniotic sacs are there. They didn't mention anything. So you can check it out here. Triplet pregnancy, unspecified number of placenta and unspecified number of amniotic sites. Sorry, sacs. Okay, amniotic sacs. And here she delivered at what time? 32 weeks of pregnancy, which is falling into the third trimester. So you can see O30.103 code it is given. Triplet pregnancy, unspecified number of placenta and unspecified of amniotic sacs of third trimester. And for this, next you need to assign 32 weeks of pregnancy, the weeks of gestation. So we have given Z3A.32. 32 represents the 32 weeks of gestation. And triplets all live born. So you can check it out here. You can go to this particular category. Okay. Other multiple births. Okay. In that all live born, you can check it out. You'll be having this particular Z37.51 triplets all live born. Three babies. All are live born. You can check out the code leading part. Here it is given very clearly. The picture is given very clearly. So you can also note down the example. Okay. So let's jump into the next slide. So we can note down this one also. A pregnant woman in the 40th week has gestational diabetes, which is controlled by diet. She is admitted to the hospital for a scheduled C-section, cesarean delivery. She delivered a healthy male infant. One baby she delivered, single live birth. So as here you can check it out, you need to assign the code for what? The condition what prompted for admission, what here? Diabetes, right? Gestational diabetes prompted her for the admission. So she came to the admission and she scheduled for the C-section. So this condition led for the C-section. So you need to assign that particular, right? So you can check it out here. Gestational diabetes mellitus. You can go to the pregnancy, there you can lead it. Okay. So diabetes mellitus arising in pregnancy. Gestational diabetes NOS. And here you can check it out. It is of 40th week. Okay. 40th week, and here you can check it out. It is given as gestational diabetes mellitus in pregnancy, which is of diet controlled. It is very clearly told here, right? It is of diet controlled. So you need to assign that particular code O24.420. And next, you need to specify this particular 40th weeks of gestation, and you need to mention as here we have she delivered a baby, right? So you need to give that single live birth also. And next here you can check it out. We have one more example. A 39 weeks gestation, 26-year-old woman is admitted for the precipitous labor and vaginally delivered a healthy baby girl. What are the ICD-10 codes are assigning here on the medical record, maternal record. So you can check it out here, precipitate labor. Okay, you can go to the word delivery. Under that, you can see complicated labor is there, precipitated labor is there. So you can go and lead this particular precipitate labor. Here it is mentioned clearly. So precipitate labor, it is of O62.3, and as she is in the 39 weeks of gestation, we can give 39 weeks of gestation. And next, she delivered a healthy baby girl, single live birth. So we are giving the single live birth, that 37.0. You can also lead it from the abnormality of forces labor, abnormality of forces of labor, which is of precipitate labor. You can see here it is a female symbol. Okay. So these are all the points that we discussed in the pregnancy chapter. Okay. I hope it is clear for everyone.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you'll be getting the recording session also. Okay. Don't worry. So that you can check out with the exam. And try to lead it in your books, try to lead it in the ICT 10 also. You can do like anything. If you are working for this working specifically for the exam, try to lead it in the books, it will be easier for you. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, that's for